Hello. In this video, we're going to go over the combined gas law. Remember for this is that we need to write down our initial values, our final values, and we're going to be missing one of the six values here. Then we're going to solve for that sixth value. So let's read the equation and then let's start labeling. A toy balloon has an initial pressure of 1.05 atm and a volume of 5.0 liters. That immediately tells me my initial pressure, or my P1, is 1.05 atm, and that my V1 is equal to 5.0 liters. So that easily tells us the first initial part of our combined gas law. Next, if we keep reading, we see if the temperature where the balloon is released is 20 degrees Celsius, what will happen to the volume when the balloon rises to an altitude where the pressure is 0.65 atm and the temperature changes to negative 15 degrees? Well, with that logic, we can assume that released at 20 degrees Celsius is going to be our initial temperature. And remember, we need to convert that to Kelvin by adding 273 to it. So this is going to give us 293 Kelvin. Next, when we finish reading the second part of that sentence, we see that after it rises, we have a final pressure of 0.65 atms and a final temperature, because the temperature changes, of negative 15 degrees Celsius. Remember, we have to convert that to Kelvin. So we're going to do that, and we see we have 258 Kelvin for our temperature too. What they then ask for is they say, what is the volume? So we are given everything but the volume. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my equation and I'm going to try and get what I'm looking for all by itself first. So I'm looking for volume 2. That means I need to get rid of my P2 and my T2. That's what we need to do to clean this up. Well, first I'm going to get rid of my denominator. In order to get rid of the denominator, I can multiply it to both sides. Cleaning that up, that'll give us P1 V1 times T2 all over T1. And that is equal to P2 V2. Then I know I need to divide by my P2. And when we do that, it's actually going to go on the denominator, because when I divide, it is the same thing as multiplying by 1 over P2. So that's what we're going to do, and we'll put that down here now. So we're going to rewrite, and we have P1 V1 times T2 all over P2 times T1. And that's going to be equal to our volume 2, our final volume. Then all we need to do is start plugging everything in. My P1 is 1.05. My V1 is 5. My T2 is 258. We draw our fraction bar. Our P2 is 0.65. And our T1 is 293. We got all those values that were labeled up here, and that's why we label them initially to begin with. So now all you have to do is make sure you plug things in very carefully into a calculator. We do 1.05, we plug in 5, we plug in 258, we plug in 0.65, we plug in 293. Plugging in all those numbers, we get 7.11 liters as my final volume from this equation. So when pressure changes from 1.05 atm to 0.65 atm, and temperature changes from 293 Kelvin down to 258 Kelvin, what happens is my volume increases from 5 liters to 7.11 liters. If you have any other questions like this, please just shoot me an email. Other than that, I hope everyone has a great day.